Silo just did something most shows wouldn't dare do in a season premiere. It took away its own main character's memory. Not villain does it off-screen memory loss either. Full on, does this woman even know who she is anymore? Memory loss. And by the end of the episode, you realize that was the whole point. Episode 1 is called Who Are You? Which, yeah, subtle as a brick, but it earns the bluntness. Season 2 ended with Juliette and Bernard trapped in a burning airlock, and Season 3 opens on the other side of that fire, except Juliette's the only one who walked out of it, and she doesn't fully remember how. We open present day, Silo 18, and Juliette's mayor now. That's not a twist. That's just where we're starting. She's taking her vitamins, having dinner, getting her daily reassurance that the silo is at peace because she came back from her cleaning. Which, if you know this show, is already a red flag the size of a shipping container, because peace in Silo has never once meant peace. While she's brushing her teeth, she clocks scars on her body and face she can't place. Doesn't spiral about it, just notices and moves on. That restraint is doing a lot of work, honestly, because Rebecca Ferguson plays this whole episode like someone quietly cataloging evidence against her own life. The next day, she's out with Camille, doing mayor things, greeting people in the building. And it's genuinely one of the more unsettling sequences the show's done. Not because anything violent happens, but because Juliette gets overstimulated. A woman trades a sheriff's badge for a wooden horse in the background, gone in 2 seconds, and Juliette can't even process it before the noise of the crowd overwhelms her and she has to retreat to her room. That's not trauma as aesthetic. That's a woman whose brain has holes in it and knows it. And here's where the episode gets its meat. Robert Sims sits Juliette down and fills in the gap, except he's filling it in with a story that's true in the details and false in the framing, which is peak Silo. Turns out Juliette's suit during the airlock fire wasn't a standard cleaning suit at all. It was jury-rigged out of a firefighter's uniform, something she'd have grabbed back in Silo 17. That's why she survived, and Bernard didn't. His suit gave out, and the official story is toxic air outside killed him. Except that's a lie. The real poison came from pipes near the airlock itself, part of something called the Safeguard Protocol. Robert had Bernard's body incinerated personally, made sure there was nothing left, which conveniently means the one person who could have corroborated any of Juliette's memories is now Ash, and Robert gets to control the narrative uncontested. Small detail, but it matters. Robert brings up an incident from Season 1, Episode 9, where Juliette took Camille and Anthony hostage to dig into how Wilkins actually died. He's not reminiscing. He's testing what she still remembers and what's gone. That's the real function of that scene. It's not exposition. It's an interrogation dressed up as comfort. There's a council scene too, less flashy but worth flagging for later. Ed argues that a recent collapse wasn't an accident. It's structural failure after 300 years of tunnels being dug through unstable ground, made worse by the bombs from Season 2's Rebellion. Juliette zeroes in on the fact that the pact bans digging upward, that they're capped at 200 feet from the surface, and that restriction suddenly feels less like tradition and more like a leash. There's also a bit of a power struggle brewing between Orla Kent, the new shadow to the head of supply, and Ed, who thinks she's too green for the job. Orla's got receipts. Her whole family's worked supply, and she shuts it down fast. File that one away. Silo loves putting a minor bureaucratic scuffle in Episode 1 that becomes a plot engine by Episode 6. Then there's the other half of the episode, the part that's doing the season's real heavy lifting long term, the before times. We follow a woman named Charlotte Keene through Washington, D.C., changing her appearance, switching subway trains mid-route because she's convinced someone's tailing her. We don't get much context yet, just vibes and paranoia. But the show's basically telling you, this is the thread that explains why humanity ended up living inside a hole in the ground in the first place. Season 3's whole pitch is that the silo's founding wasn't an accident of survival. It was engineered, deliberately, by people whose names we're about to learn. Charlotte Keene is presumably connected to Congressman Daniel Keene, who the show's been teasing as part of a journalist and politician duo uncovering something catastrophic before the world went underground. 2 different women, 2 different centuries, both being watched, both changing their identities to survive it. That parallel is not subtle, and I don't think it's supposed to be. Okay, the ending. This is the part everyone's going to be theorizing about by tonight. Juliette's eating chowder, finds a scroll rolled up inside her bowl. The note tells her, paraphrasing here, not reading it word for word, that if she wants the truth, she needs to leave her bowl upside down and head to the marketplace, and to burn the note after reading it. Classic underground resistance move, and it immediately called back Season 1 for me, when Martha slipped Juliette a secret message while she was locked in that holding cell. My money's on Martha again. She's the connective tissue between person who's been in the down deep resistance the whole time and person who has zero reason to trust the official story Robert's been feeding Juliette. Here's the read I've got on it. The resistance doesn't want Juliette showing up with a full memory dump and a manifesto. That's not how this works. They want her to remember who she was before the fire, the version of her that took hostages to expose a cover-up, the version that got sent outside because she wouldn't stop asking questions. And the actual mechanism blocking that memory isn't trauma. It's those vitamins. The show's basically told us, without saying it outright, that Juliette's being drugged into forgetting, and the marketplace meetup is the first domino toward her figuring that out and going off her supply. What I like about this premiere, and I mean genuinely like, not just recap fodder like, is that it swaps the show's original hook for a scarier one. Season 1 was, what's outside the silo? Season 2 was, how many silos are there? Season 3, Episode 1, is asking whether the people controlling the story can just edit a person's memory and get away with it. And if they can do that to one person, what's stopping them from doing it to 300 years of recorded silo history? That's a Severance question wearing a dystopian bunker costume, and it's a smarter show for asking it. So, quick predictions before I let you go. I think Martha sent the note. I think Charlotte Keene turns out to be directly related to the Keene family running the Before Times conspiracy thread, not just thematically linked. And I think by the time Juliette gets off those pills, the show's going to reveal that Robert didn't just lie about Bernard's death. He's been managing what Juliette remembers since the day she walked back through that door. New episode drops next Friday. If this theory ages badly, I will absolutely mention it. Don't worry.